Hey everyone, it's Aisha aka Lesh here from LivingLesh.com, the petite fashion, lifestyle, motherhood, and beauty blog that you all know and love. So today I'm here with my very first full makeup beauty tutorial. I've done reviews, I've done simple tutorials, but today I actually want to give you a full beauty tutorial on a recent look I did that was Halloween inspired. So if you saw my blog post, if not, the link's below, go check it out. I did a makeup based werewolf fashion look, did the whole look on the blog, and it's featured, using, a House by CB look, but of course I did the makeup as well. And from popular demand, everyone was like, you know what, I would love to see how you did your simple werewolf makeup look. So I'm here in this video to share it with you all so that you can easily recreate. I've linked all of the products below for you to use, but of course you can find a lot of these that you probably already have in your makeup bag. But instead of talking all about it, let's get started on how to do this full makeup tutorial. So I've already applied my primer, and what I use is the Dermalogica Hydra Blur Primer. I think it just does great for just kind of blending things out. I have combination skin, so I like using it in the case that, I get a lot of, oil at night or it just starts drying out. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my NARS Sheer Glow Foundation. The color I have is called Cadiz Sheer Glow. And if you know about NARS foundation, you're actually just supposed to put it straight into your hand and smear it around. So I'm going to go on and start with the base and apply my foundation. So now that my foundation is on, I'm going to use my NARS concealer as well. I'm using Light 3 Honey. It's the soft matte concealer. So I'm just going to take my concealing blender. I'm just going to dip it in a little bit and then just make a square underneath the eye, or a triangle square. I know my shapes. I don't want to add too much because I'm going to end up adding banana powder as well. Plus, you don't want to make your concealer look too bright or too light underneath your eyes, because yes, we are going to do a highlighter underneath, but also because the werewolf look is such a deep look, you don't want it looking like your eyes are too bright. You want to leave that darkening aspect into it. So when I'm applying it, I make sure to kind of get that little kind of corner up for when I do my eyeshadow. So the thing is, I kind of just create that kind of contour here. As you can see, I'm like creating that line, but it will be blended out later. So if you create a harsh line, it'll be further blended out, not just using your blender, but when we do the setting powder as well. So now that my concealer is on, I'm actually going to bake in my concealer with a banana powder. So I'm using banana setting powder from, I don't even know where it's from. It's from Bella Pierre. But if you just get a yellow colored banana setting powder, I've linked one below that I usually get as well, that you can find easily. And all you have to do is just take your brush, like a little light brush, and just get a light amount. Don't make it too much because you don't want to become, again, too yellow. And you're just kind of dab it along. You want to make sure you do have some excess, because the good thing is that as you're baking this on, the excess is actually going to help later as we are doing our eyeshadow to make sure it's catching any residue. And you're going to end up wiping this off, like I said. We're going to wipe some of this off. There's still going to be some you're probably still going to see. And then we're going to put a sheer setting powder underneath as we're doing the eyeshadow. So it's kind of like you're getting a lot of setting powders underneath your eyes. So this is going to help, this amount of setting powder is actually going to help with, again, if you're oily at all, but it's also just going to help with looking a little bit more matte. So that's why I use the matte concealer. And then the setting powder is going to make it a lot more matte. So for my first kind of level of contouring, I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills contour stick. And this is it's a truffle stick foundation. So this is the shade that I'm using for mine. And what I do is I kind of make a small line right on my temple, and then I look to where like my cheekbone is, and I'm going to make a line from my temple a little bit towards my cheekbone. So one thing is, a lot of people go all the way down. Don't go all the way down, because you're going to end up creating this like deep line that goes to your lips, and you don't want that. So I'm going to do that on both sides. And don't worry if it's even. You're going to end up blending this out, and then you're going to end up doing another layer of contour. And then I'm going to go underneath on my jawbone and right like near where my ears are to kind of darken that area as well. The one thing I'm going to do for the werewolf look is I'm going to deepen it right here because I kind of want to extend, you know, my sideburns so that I can create like more of a hairy look, because I mean, it's a werewolf. And then I'm also going to go near my hairline to darken a little bit, just going to create these kind of little lines that we're going to blend in. And the one thing is, usually when you're contour, you're also doing like highlights in other places. We're not going to do that because we don't want to make, again, too bright. It's a werewolf look, so you don't want to like make yourself too much. But if you want to put in those highlights for your, you know, your regular look and kind of make it a little bit more day-like and not as dark, go for it. But this is just my preference. So then I'm going to blend it in. So I have like a contour thing. It's super dirty. I need to like wash it. But I'm going to end up blending all of this contour in. So now, as you can see, I darkened a lot of the areas on my face, and that is on purpose. Again, we're going for a werewolf look. We want it to look dark so it looks like it has some essence of like hairiness on your face. So we're going to end up darkening in this contour later, but next we're going to actually, you know, blend some of this out, make sure all of this is clear, and then we're going to go on to the eye area, which is the super important area, and then we'll finish with the contour at the end. So the first thing I'm going to do to blend this out is I'm going to get a big kind of just, you know, powder foundation brush. And I'm going to use my tinted setting powder. And what I use is the Too Faced Born This Way setting powder. It's the translucent medium. And I'm not going to use a lot. I'm going to just kind of blend this out as much as I can, especially because we want to get rid of that banana color and also kind of smooth out with the medium color, the concealer, basically, because again, we don't want this to be too light. So I'm going to focus a lot of the area on getting out that lightness right there, but also kind of blending everything in. So you're going to end up losing some of the contour in here, which you're going to see is not going to be as harsh because you're blending it out. But again, we're going to do another level of contouring, and we're going to put the highlight back a little bit. So we are going to end up deepening this area, but you just kind of want to get a good set base and start moving from there. So as you can see, it's already starting to even out a little bit. And then I'm just going to go here and here and do that. So now you have this base, you have these darkened area. It does not matter if it's even or not yet, because again, you're not going for perfection. You're a werewolf. Werewolves aren't always perfect. They're hairy. They kind of do everything. They're everywhere. So that's where we are with that one. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in my eyebrows. Again, I'm not going to do this sharp eyebrow look because the eyebrows are going to end up looking messy anyway. So I'm actually going to take a just kind of, I'm using the Brow Ultra Slim Defining Pencil. And I'm just going to start filling that in a little bit to start. We're going to make it a little bit more browy later. But I'm going to brush it out and then just fill it in. The color I'm using is like a black brown. Because I do have black eyebrows, but the brown makes it like less harsh. So I'm going to make just kind of enough streaks to fill it in. I'm not fully defining it. If you want to define it to make it a sharp brow, go for it. But I'm just going to go in as if like it's my natural brow and just kind of fill it in. I'm not going to do that light to dark kind of thing that you often see. Again, I'm just going to making sure it's like thicker. I want to make it look thicker. Because again, werewolf. Hairy, make it look thick. So you're going to fill this in a whole lot more, and then we're going to go from there. So the key to filling it is making those kind of short strokes in the direction of your eyebrows, just to kind of make it sure. And sometimes I extend it because I have like a treble brow sometimes. That just kind of like, it shortens when I get it like waxed, and then they try to even it out, and then they go, oh well, it'll just fill in. I recently got someone who just kind of plucked them, and they just did a better job with it because everyone has that kind of treble brow. Some people have great even brows. I'm not that person that has even brows, so I just kind of work with what I got, and it works out for me. So now that that's set, we're going to start working on the eyeshadow. We're going to come back to the brows later, so don't think this is the end. I'm just stopping here just because we want to first do the eyeshadow because you don't want to make the lines that end up being the brows over the eyeshadow. So I'm actually going to be using the Naked Urban Decay Honey palette to start with. And the first shade I'm going to use with just using the brush that's already in here. Now a lot of people are like, oh, everyone always has these other brushes. I'm just going to use the brushes in here to make it super simple. And we're going to start with Drip right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Drip and I'm going to go for the upper crease first and get them in there on both sides. So I am taking it up a little further just because I'm going to make this kind of the area where you can see it blending. And I'm going to just take my fingers and kind of bring it up. Again, you won't see this much as harshness later because eventually when we make our eyebrows a little bit thicker and more hairy, the hair on your eyebrows that we create will just kind of blend that out. So now that we got that as our base, our transition, the next one I'm going to take right here is Sting. I'm going to take Sting and I'm actually going to make that my other crease, so my more, not my inner crease, but like the right here. I'm going to call this the crease, but yes, I'm going to pick it as the second level of the crease. I'm actually going to still use the same end of the brush and just use that kind of more, I guess you would say the brushy brush, I don't even really know. But I'm going to take that and I'm going to go again in my crease, moving more towards the lid to get it darkened in there. Then to even things out, just kind of take your fingers, and I usually just kind of blend it together a little bit. And the next one I'm going to do is I'm going to take this color Hive right here, Hive, and I'm going to put that actually on my lid using the same little end brush. Now you can clean it off in between if you wish, but I think it's because the pigment is so great, you really don't have to. So just going to dab that on over top. So now you have a set base. So the next thing I'm going to do is actually I'm going to do my underlid. I'm going to do it in the same order. So you're going to take the actual other end of your brush. We're going to use Drip, Sting, and then Hive. And then as you're doing it, just make sure you're connecting it back into that corner. So you're going from corner to corner. And as you're layering this, you're kind of coming further and further down a little bit, just so it's not like fully just not seen. And after you've done that, you're just gonna now let this sit. We're gonna come back to the eyeshadow palette, but you could also clean off your brushes. I keep like a little tissue next to me just to kind of clean it off. It doesn't need to be fully clean. It just needs to like get rid of some of the thing, because the next one we're gonna use, we wanna make sure that we're actually getting it in there and seeing. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take a like crayon eyeliner. I'm going to do my bottom lid. So I'm using Tattoo Studio by Maybelline, and I'm just using the gel crayon, which is a gel pencil liner, and it's just in black. So I'm going to do that the flat under part of my eyelid. So I'm going to try not to get into my tear duct, but just doing my lash line and making sure that it's going to each corner. And next, I'm going to take a liquid liner. I'm using Tartelette, or Tarteist. Anyway, it's from Tarteist, and it's the brown color for right now. I'm using the brown liner. There is a pencil at one end, so you could use that pencil. I like using the black one just because I want to use the brown at the bottom. Then I'm going to take this edge and I'm just going to outline it really smoothly to create these inner corners. And then I'm going to go over my top lash with the pencil, but you'll see that in a second. Outer corners. And again, if you're on the lid and you kind of slip and make it too thick, don't worry, you're going to go back with the other one anyway. Now the key here is once you get to your your corners, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this down and I'm going to actually extend this underneath. So I'm going to show you the thing afterwards, but I'm going to try to do it really quick on one, and then I'll show you how close it is. But basically, you're going to bring the line down and you're going to extend it out to the bridge of your nose. So try to do the bottom one and then just bring it out. It doesn't have to be clean because again, you're a werewolf. So then I'm going to go back and I'm going to get that black crayon and I'm going to go over my top lid to create a thick line. Now we have this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my palette. I'm going to take where it says Golden Honey, and I'm actually going to take the short end and mix both of these together to get a deep gold. And I'm going to go in the corners and drop a thick corner right here. So as you can see how it was messy before, you're not really seeing it as much, but there's still that kind of V extended. So now we have that gold in there, and you can still see the lines. So then I usually just to clean it up, I go back with my pencil and just make sure that my eyeliner is thick right in the corner. So now we have these eyes done for the most part. So these are done, and if you want to do eyelashes, you can do it at the end. I have semi-permanent eyelashes in that just look natural, so I keep them like that. I don't actually put on full lashes, but again, if you want to put full lashes on, that'll complete the look. But for now, this is the look, and now we're going to go back to our brows. So what I actually do is I take that brow pencil I had before. This is where we're going to get a little messy, is what I'm talking about. So first, you're just going to start making these crazy lines in different areas. It does not have to be clean. So now we kind of got the eyes done. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to go back and we're going to start with our contour again. We're going to go back to that second level of contouring. So what I'm going to end up using is this NARS Summer Lights palette. So I use this a lot for bronzing. You can see the good bronzing colors in it. So it is called NARS Summer Light. It's a face palette, which is super great. But I use this for all of my contouring, but it works with this. So to deepen my contour, you can see that there's these colors up top. I'm going to take the far right one, which is this dark color, as well as the second from the left one. And I'm going to mix those together. And I'm going to start where I usually, from my temple in. That's where I want to start. So I'm going to make this deeper, blend it in with my hairline, and then bring it in. So I want to make sure my temple is a whole lot deeper. And then a little bit underneath where I have my other contour in. Again, we're deepening it. Deepening where we contoured before, basically, to get that darkness back. And what I'm going to do on my nose, I'm going to go into the bridge of my nose. I'm also going to do the tip of my nose. I'm going to do the sides here a little bit. And then I'm going to get that deep color, the real deep color. I'm going to pat it on. I'm going to take my highlighter brush, and from the same palette, I'm going to take this kind of lighter color, mix it with the shimmer, and I'm going to lightly go underneath my eyes to add a little bit of golden shimmer. Look a little mystical. And then right down the bridge of my nose, and then right on my forehead a little bit. And if you want to, we can get in here a little bit too. Very lightly. So the last thing I do is I kind of just want to even things out. So if there are certain things, you could just take a light feathery brush. If you feel like it's just too dark and you feel like it's not smoothed, you can kind of just brush some of it off, brush some of it in, even it out. And then you have that. So the next thing we're going to go on is to the lip. So for the lips, I'm using two products. I'm using the Huda Beauty Liquid Matte, Huda Beauty, I know how to say that, Liquid Matte in Venus. And I'm also using a NARS Dance Fever Velvet Matte lip pencil. Now most people use the lip pencil to line first. I actually line second just because it just makes my life easier. Depending on the circumstances, but I'm going to take this, the Huda Beauty, kind of matte lipstick, and I'm going to let it on both ends. So the reason why we're doing nude is because you still want that brown essence, and the crayon will deepen it at the end. Now you could go darker, it's up to you. I'm going to go lighter for this instance, just because everything else is so dark. Make sure that it's blended out. No sharp edges, and if there are, we'll figure it out. So I'm going to take this, and I'm going to then now outline and make it somewhat deeper. And this is just kind of getting rid of your sharp lines. It's not supposed to be adding a lot of color. We're going for a nude look for this lip option. So you just kind of want to make sure it's lining up. You're getting the full detail of where you want your lips to be fuller, where the line is, where you want it to go to. So this is the nude look you could leave here at this point. I'm going to show you a second option where you can get a little bit deeper, where you just basically layer it on top of this. So if you want to go deeper and go like a little bit more darker, you can use this Revlon brown lipstick. It's in the color Superstar Brown, and it is also matte. As you can see, I did a lot of matte here. And what I do is I usually, if I wanted to make this deeper, I'm not going to put it on my whole lip. I just want to have that kind of nude look to it. I'm going to take it and I'm just going to use it kind of like a liner and go in the corners and on the bottom part. So as you can see, I only did the bottom because it's going to blend out on the top. And then once I get my corners the deepen color I want it to be, I'm going to just kind of hint a little at the top, even it out, and then here is this look. So at this time I would also go, as you can see, like in the final look, if you went to the blog post, I have teeth in, so then we have that. You can add that little extra, but this is pretty much it. If there's things you still want to blend out, again, you can use your brush, blend them out. I also have one of these things where you can kind of like, if you want to see that corner there and you don't want it to be there, I have like a buffer brush where you can just kind of take the corner and just buff it out to smooth it. So as you can see, just like kind of blended it, like fully blended it out. Like it just kind of went in there. Then if you just kind of fix things as you will. But my hair is going to cover a lot of these things, so I'm not like too worried about it. But the more focus is like where my eyes are. I just want to make sure things are dark and I'm looking like the werewolf I want to look like. So if you have any questions, you have any concerns, there's things like, you know, I need some extra tips. What would you wear this with? You know, ask those below. And I hope this helped you and gave you a place to start and is a great tutorial that you can use for your easy makeup look. And I hope it was easy for you to follow. And I can't wait to share more with you all. So this is the final werewolf glam look, and if you're looking to just tone it down a little bit and make it a day look, just remove the werewolf aspects and you are all set to go.